Hello, soulmates. You're now listening to Peppers of Stories meant to soothe the souls of women everywhere.
All right, welcome to another episode of Pepper Soup Stories.
Love it. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Fatri.
Thank you. I want to just introduce you a little bit to our soulmates, and then we'll get a little more into the story because I want us to jump right in. You've got so much to share, and we're just bubbling. It's like it's a pot on the stove is bubbling over with all its goodness and the aromas in the air. So we need to just release it. So Bukky Asehinde is a dynamic entrepreneur and the visionary founder of Bellafricana. Her journey began with a strong belief in the untapped potential and talent within Nigeria and has expanded far beyond that. But we'll learn more about that in just a minute. Through Bellafricana, Bukky has created a platform that promotes high-quality, locally made Nigerian products, showcasing the creativity and innovation of Nigerian artisans, artists as well, right, and entrepreneurs. Bukky is also recognized as a community leader called the Mother Hen, right? She's a marketing and communications expert and digital marketing specialist. She does business coaching as well and helps to lift the level of play. And we as consumers enjoy the benefit of her work, as well as the artisans and just creating economy and ecosystem, all of those things. Her expertise in these areas have been instrumental in elevating Nigerian brands to meet global standards, making them competitive on an international level. I'd like to introduce to you our special guest today, Bukky Asehinde.
Woo!
Welcome. So you are, yes. We are so happy to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. I'm excited. I am honored to be here right now. And I love, we've come a long way, so you can imagine how joyful I am to be having this conversation with you today.
I love it. We were kind of grounding ourselves in some gratitude as we began this morning. And I think that's such an important practice because oftentimes, people look at you at a certain point and they don't realize what a faith walk it was required and when you fell down, how you got back up. All they see is the standing. So it's today we're going to be pulling back the veil. So I want to let you know that if you meant to listen to Pepper Soup Stories, then you're in the right place. So you listen to Pepper Soup Stories that are meant to soothe the soul of women everywhere. We all know the expression, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Well, in Africa and beyond, when life gives you pepper, and that's the Americana way of saying pepper. But when life gives you pepper, which is any type of difficulty. Yes, pepper. Any type of difficulty. The true measure of well-being is how quickly and how well you can make and reframe that pepper, which is into pepper soup, which is a solution and pathway to soothing. So our podcast message is, we see you and you have the power to shape your identity. You're not alone. Doing it alone is a lot of wasted time of trial and error. Hallelujah. Can we relate to that?
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So my co-hosts and I at Jimin have been blessed professionally and personally to have grinded many peppers. And we feel called to share our wisdom and that of our network so that our sisters around the world can get a leg up, skip the broken wrong in their careers, relationships, femininity, wellness, and whatever our audience is calling for. Armed with 50 years of corporate experience between us in the US and Africa, complemented with coaching credentials in career wellness and leadership, twice a month we'll bring you this body of experience to your door. So we are your hosts, Jamin and Patrinia. So that's Pepper Soup Stories, soothing the souls of women. I want to just start a little bit with you, Bukky. I've got this very impressive bio that I've already given. I am Patrinia Wurtzel-Naha, and you and I go back quite a ways.
We do.
So, yes, I'm a mojo queen because it's about more joy in all aspects of your life. And this podcast is an extension of that. I want to just ask you, every superhero, before they put on their cape, they actually have an origin story. So my question to you is, Bukky, tell us a little bit about yourself and your personal origin story.
Thank you so much for having me again, Katrina. I like to say that my story has come a long way, and one of my favorite, quotes is the one with Steve Jobs, where he says that, you connect the dot looking back. And it's so true because with all the experiences over the many years, I'll start by saying I'm honored to be a mom to a beautiful daughter, wife to a king, and I carry many hats along those lines. I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I am the mother hen, the creative mother hen to over 20,000 chicks, but I've grown with Bellafricana for over 8 years. We now have over 20,000 creative entrepreneurs in the network. I am who a lot of people say very resourceful, their go-to person. Some people would say if you have Bukky in your corner, you are good. That's how passionate I am about helping people, about just supporting people and navigating people on their journey. My my story has come from many years of while I was outside of Nigeria to study in the UK, and to now coming back I moved to the UK around 2008, did my college. Yeah, did my college and everything. I moved back in 2012. And that's where when you're sitting on a vision, a dream, but you don't know someone once said you're moving from either your one day, if you keep saying you'll birth a business, you're either doing it one day or you have a day one. And when I moved back to Nigeria in 2012.
Wait a minute, say that one more time. You'll either do it.
Yeah, so when people say, oh, one day I will start a business, one day I will do this, and it's your choice. When will be your day one? It's up to you when you decide to make that day become day one. Mm-hmm. And that's amazing. That's one of the while I moved out of Nigeria and I was in the UK, that's when the whole idea of Bellafricana started. When you're outside of the country and you yearn for a piece of home, that was me. I was in the UK and I loved I wanted I wanted access to food pieces, fashion items, creative products, and my mom was always the one coming, to visit. So I would make her bring some items back for me.
So your personal longing, longing outside. You're like, wait, where's my stuff? Where are my people? Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Exactly, and that's where the dream for Bellafricana had started. Wanted to build a platform like Etsy, where different African products, starting with Nigeria, can be accessible globally by customers and consumers all over the world. And that's the origin of my evolution into what I'm doing with Bellafricana. Yes.
All right. So we're going to be getting into how you have what do we do? Okay. How you have been able to evolve and put on the wings, so to speak, of your superhero cape. So part of this whole ministry, if you want to call it that, is that we want to help to really, what'd you say, connect the dots back. I love that.
Yes.
And when you begin to connect the dots back, maybe you can think of and share a couple things that we might call peppers. What are some of the obstacles and what are some of the challenges that you personally ran into on your journey? And I want you to really tell us, what is Bellafricana and why? Why Bellafricana? Let's start there.
Why Bellafricana? I always say that every industry needs a champion. And for me, I don't know. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, what is it with creative people that makes me always want to show up for them through all the many life seasons that I've been through?
Mm-hmm.
Why Bellafricana? Like I did mention earlier, my moving back to Nigeria, carrying this big dream of wanting to build a global village, a global market for African creatives. Moving back, it was how do we make these creative entrepreneurs more visible? That was one of the major things that kept waking me up. And interestingly, I started to meet a whole lot of these creative people when I moved back to Nigeria. So when I talk about creative people, I'm talking about creative entrepreneurs in the fashion, beauty, and lifestyle industry. That's always been the top.
Fashion, say it again.
So
Fashion,
fashion,
beauty.
beauty, art and lifestyle. So lifestyle encompasses food, what's it called, furnitures, and a whole lot of other things. So lifestyle industry, those major key areas have always been people that, because for me, I'm sure if you're listening to this right now, you probably have a creative friend, and
Mm-hmm.
you would know that many creative people want to just create. They don't necessarily want to do the business side. If not because they need money, they probably wouldn't be doing the business side. And I salute every single creative entrepreneur out there, because creativity and entrepreneurship are two major categories. And one of the things that made me birth Bellafricana was helping them understand the business side of their creativity. Okay, so helping them understand the business side of their creativity. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Helping creative entrepreneurs understand the creative side of their or the business side of their creativity was one of the major mission for me. And one of the major things that I also noticed is the fact that many creative entrepreneurs, through their different life cycles, through their business journey, they don't understand, the marketing side, every component of, having that business support. And so Bellafricana was birthed as a tech-enabled community for creative entrepreneurs to thrive. So helping them understand how the business side works, making sure that they have access to experts, access to other entrepreneurial friends so that they don't feel alone on their entrepreneurial journey, and also being more visible globally so that they can start, increasing their customer base and just growing as a business owner, not just as a creative. And that's where the entire everything that Bellafricana has done has been towards the vision of wanting to impact over 100,000 creative entrepreneurs, but just making sure that whatever we're doing in our mission, we're giving them access to more platforms, access to opportunities through all of the all of the showcases that we do. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why Bellafricana has been through this for the past 8 years, and we're just getting started. And that's where
Yes.
the journey has been so far.
Wow, wow. So
Yeah.
what I'm hearing you say that is some of the keys around Bellafricana is the tech enabled. It
Yes.
is linking creativity with entrepreneurship, because often those things don't run together, right? A lot of creative people don't know how to run a business, don't really want to run a business, and may not even be, why should I, if I build it, they should come. You also got to work through some of that arrogance, I imagine. So you've
Exactly.
been able to give access, you've been able to give connection, you've been able to give visibility, and
Yes.
you've helped to really grow the competence as a business owner for
Um,
this collective. And these numbers, I remember you were at 200 in your collective, and now you're at 20,000.
yes.
OMG. OMG. This is
Over
amazing.
7 African countries, and now in the UK, now in America, we have members, African-owned business owners all around the world. Mhm.
Wow, 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 wow. So when you say that you have a 20,000 members. What does it take to be a member? Because I want to get to your peppers, but it's just so exciting where you are right now. I want you to just tell me, what is that like? When you say you have a collective of creative entrepreneurs, tell me about that.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, well, we've been building Bellafricana for the past 8 years, so from 2016, and that's like officially, unofficially, it's been other since I moved back to Nigeria. However, so Bellafricana used to be a membership based organization. That was the model we were running. But 2 years ago, we opened Bellafricana and made it free. We opened the free side of Bellafricana to pause the paid part so that more creative, especially the young ones, for the entrepreneurs on that Bellafricana, we have business owners that are going from their idea stage to their startup stage, and from their startup stage to their growth stage. So we have 80% of our business owners going from idea to start. So we opened up the free side of Bellafricana just so that they're able to get access to more, entrepreneurs like themselves, to be able to connect with them. We run classes, workshops, give them access to, because and that's one of the powers of communities. You're not doing it alone. You get to know what exactly is happening in my industry that I should know about. What are the grants? Because access to funding, access to more experts, a whole lot of those kind of things are what these entrepreneurs need. But what we say to them is instead of going through your journey alone, when you're a part of the community, you're able to, get access to more information that you don't know about. So we opened it up, and that's when we were able to increase our numbers with our entrepreneurs in different parts of the world. So we have people who are in the paid subscription and people who are on the free parts of Bellafricana. And so on our platforms, on our Instagrams, in our email newsletters, we have all our business owners in the network.
Okay. So when you said that when you have some people that are between startup and idea, so what are those different phases? And is it at a certain phase where you begin to have a paid membership?
Yes. So from the startup, when you have a friend that just says, "Oh, I'm passionate about sewing. I love to sew. I'm a fashion designer, but I don't know how to start up. I don't know how to start my business. What do I need to do to get this business started?" So from the idea stage, when they get in, we have a membership platform, which we've paused right now. However, we give them access to information, for instance, how to register their businesses, what kind of things they need to do. Yes, is it marketing? We make sure that we invite experts to come and talk to them about the different types of marketing that they need, experts like, yes, you're back, all the things along the business chain, along that they need to be able to start up. We get them access to it, to branding, to sales, to human resources, to accounting. We have built a network around all of these people that are able to help our members to just get started. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So I have a curiosity, and I know sometimes I can go into the weeds, but I do have a curiosity. Do you partner with HR companies that might be able to benefit from scale, right? So if it's an HR specialty, would your members pay to access those services?
Yes. So
Okay.
what we do is, if an HR company wanted to approach our members, for instance, they would, we try to sensitize them by making sure that they train them on how to also build capacity in-house for themselves. And then if they have any service that would help our members, what we try to do is to leverage our numbers to get it at a discounted cost for our members.
Okay.
Be able to have access to such a service, save them money, and also make them money. That's the goal. Yeah.
Okay. So pepper story. Pepper.
Story.
What have been some of the peppers? Have there been? What are all the flavors of pepper?
There have been pepper. The top of mind pepper is when my young family and I moved from Nigeria to the UK, which was about 2 years plus ago. Well, my husband my husband is also in the tech industry, so he got endorsed as an exceptional talent in the tech industry. So that got us access to being able to move to the UK. Yes, thank you so much, to be able to work, to be able to start our businesses, to be able to do anything that we wanted to do in that line. And because I schooled in the UK, I was like, oh, it's just the UK, yeah, I'll be all right, everything that we needed to do. We're just 5 hours from home, but forgetting the fact that I was moving back to the UK as a mom, as a wife, as an entrepreneur. So that year when we moved to the UK, Patrina, I entered a season of stretch. It was I call it my stretching season because mentally I just hibernated from anything that had to do with the business side of building Bellafricana. Coming from where I had all of the support from Nigeria, I didn't need to be showing, I didn't need to be washing any plates, I didn't need to really be cooking for anybody, I didn't need to be doing any of those, responsibilities. I had I had a whole support system. But I moved to the UK and as much as let's even forget the weather change or the everything change. I was used to that. I was prepared mentally to a to an extent. But when I moved, I started to ask myself questions like who will now start cooking for this slot every single day? Like who will start to prepare? Where do I really start from?
Yeah.
What hats do I activate today? Do I focus on being the best mom that I can be, the best wife that I can be, or the best entrepreneur that I can be? It was more of something has to give. So long story short, I was this close to letting go of Bellafricana because over the years, yeah, I'm telling you, I was this close. I was basically almost going bankrupt to what I was building with Bellafricana. I was thinking of Bellafricana as a charity because I kept saying to me, I was saying all the reasons why. I was telling myself all the reasons why Bellafricana wasn't going to take me through this season because I was thinking of the financial side of things. Bellafricana was not paying me enough in naira. How will Bellafricana start to pay me enough in pounds? Because then at that time, 2 years ago, it was divided by about 1,000 naira. Now we're about 2,000. But anyway, that's story for another day. But I had moved to the UK and I was like, man, it's looking like Bellafricana cannot sustain this. So I didn't even own a CV. That's how much it was a struggle. After school and uni, and I moved, I kind of started Bellafricana almost immediately. I didn't work in Nigeria, so I was building Bellafricana. But moving here, it was not a matter of we need streams of income to be able to sustain our current season. What do I do? So I got into a routine of being a mom, being a wife, and then coming on my computer to just look for a job. Had to build my CV, had to go and think of all of the expertise that I had. I wasn't excited because as much as I loved Bellafricana, I was just like, I was slipping away slowly from Bellafricana mentally, but I was showing up. I was still it was only the closest people that knew that, Bukky, what's going on? You haven't posted for almost a year on your social media. You haven't updated anything on when anyone called me for a speaking engagement, I will say no, I'm not speaking. I'm not doing any speaking engagements. My year ago, I have already done all the speaking engagements I can do forward. So I was hibernating. It wasn't until later in that year that's my pepper story. That's my most recent pepper story, and I'm sure I'm still going to share some of the ways that I was able to kind of drift away from that. But to be honest, when you talk about gratitude, I know that one of the things that held me up was my husband. Obviously we are both entrepreneurs, right? He owns his business, we both don't work, but I always say that he's more self-driven than I am. Him, he can show up, show out, do whatever he needs to do. Me, I need a little bit more push. But
self-awareness is very important.
Self-awareness is very important.
Yes, the only way you can get to self-mastery, because often people look in the mirror and all they see is all their beauty. If you can't take off the makeup and see the warts and be like, okay. So I was in a conversation yesterday about self-regulation with someone. And once you realize, and it was so funny, she's a coach also. And one of the things she talked about was setting up a system that accommodates that thing that you may not be, number one at, but you still need to get done. And what we talked about was setting up external expectations, sometimes for our things, can help us with that lower internal motivation. So it's so ironic that you bring that up. But I joke with people, I started my book club, right? Yes, I love books and the people and everything in it, but what problem really was I trying to solve? I would start books and never finish them. I would be
Hmm.
well intended, but I had so many books I had started. And I said, well, wait a minute. If I have a book club and if I have people looking up to me, I will start and finish the book because I'm having to structure it. I've got to show up for other people. So that's just one pepper. So I don't even know where that came from, but if that was useful to anybody,
Yes.
if sometimes you have a hard time keeping the commitments to yourself, you don't have to get on social media. I'm not into all that, telling the world. And then you feel one, you've already told your brain you did it. And sometimes you're off the hook psychologically, but you still haven't done the thing. So figure out systems that you can set up that gives you some external accountability. And then after a while, you can work into it. So
Yeah.
we're
One of
turning
the
commercial over. But anyway, Bukky, I love that you shared that. So thank you for sharing that side of it. But
Thank
that
you.
season of hibernation, what did you discover about yourself?
Hmm. So, one of the things that I started to say to myself, for example, was I noticed that I was imploding a lot. So, everything that I was feeling it internally. I wasn't speaking about it, right?
Oh, okay.
I noticed that I was internalizing a lot. And so, if I was even ever to get any support for whatever I was feeling, it would take a longer time if I wasn't speaking about it at all to anyone, not even
Mhm.
because I didn't want to speak it to my husband and I didn't know how to articulate it to somebody who would be able to help me understand how I was feeling or how to navigate through that season. However, one of the things that I knew was my ability to stay in gratitude. One of the things that I started to go through was self-compassion. I had to train myself to just be compassionate to myself in that season. As much as it was an answered prayer, right? I was trying to rush out of that season and I wasn't compassionate to myself in that season and trying to be the best entrepreneur, best mom, best wife, all in one, and not, enjoying that season without putting pressure on myself, on wanting to make money immediately, wanting to do everything immediately. So one of the key things that were on my table was self-compassion. I remember during that time I used to read one of my favorite quotes then when I used to say, God is working everything out together for my good. And I had to reread it and change the perception of that to myself. And I started to say, God has worked everything out for my good. Like He's done already. It's not as if He's about to do it. He's done it.
Mm.
So I need to start living in the revelation, in the like it is done. It's not something that He's about to do, because every time I kept saying that He's working it out, I kept making myself feel like it's still coming in the future, as opposed to it is now. So I need to start, what's it called?
Affirmations in the present
Acting.
moment.
Yes, acting into the the future, basically. So
Mhm.
those are some of the things that I was, taking myself, and then I started to explode as opposed to implode, not necessarily shouting or doing anything, but just talking it out. While I took more time out, I started to go for walks. I was walking a lot. Where we stayed, it was a beautiful. It's still where we stay right now. Anyway, it's a beautiful like estate. So I found a new hobby. Walking was doing it for me. I take long walks. I had to start giving myself goals of 10 kilometers. I used to think it was a far-fetched thing, but I started to enjoy. I would do 10,000 steps a day easily, just enjoy listening to music, walking. And I wanted to lose some weight anyway, but that made, that made me
That
that
was
made
a
me achieve
byproduct.
my goal. That made me achieve my goal. So I started to explode as opposed to imploding, and it was healthier for me. So I wasn't anxious as much as I was. And so I also noticed that I was acting out of fear as opposed to doing what I wanted to do.
Out of hope.
Yeah,
Mhm.
out of hope. Exactly.
Mm.
Me wanting to stop Bellafricana was out of fear of how do I start now? Do I have to start? Am I starting from beginning? How am I going to enter the UK market? So I had to re-nurture my mind, renew my mind. My mindset was a whole lot of fear of flee kind of thing, where I almost turned to two versions of myself, Bukky in the physical and Bukky in the mind, where I'm looking at the mirror and I'm telling myself, what's the worst that can happen if we kick Bellafricana off in the UK? What's the worst thing that can happen if we do it afraid? those sort of things. And I remember some of those mental exercise that I was going through, doing mindset trainings. Every time when I wake up in the morning, I put a proper affirmation, like videos of people speaking about different things, and it used to activate my mind in another level. Taking myself through all of these things, I remember, and it was so physical that May last year, when this happened to me, my husband was away for 2 months, for the first time in my life that we've been separated for. He had to go to Nigeria, so I had to be a mom and a dad to my daughter. So I went through so many determination exercises, like driving in the UK. I was a lot of things that I was afraid for. I was challenging myself to do it, and it was retuning my mind. And I remember when my husband came back in May, I just told him, I said, babe, I am registering Bellafricana, and I'm going to do our very first pop-up, and it will not be for one day, neither will it be for 2 days, it will be for 7 days. And I only had 40 days to plan for that edition of the pop-up that we had in the UK. And he looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what? You're not going to do this thing for 1 day, it's 2 days. I was like, I was going to do this. So it was almost as if I was challenging my mind to do it in fear, do it afraid, and just get it done, whatever the case is. Yeah. So.
Wow. I was the pastor on Sunday was talking about the fact that often we require adversity. We need to get all the way down without everything. And from a spiritual perspective, that's often when you hear from God. When you ain't got nothing else, right? So the intuition and being able to hearing, then believing.
That's right.
Finding ways to help build your belief, because between stimulus and response is a choice. And that choice is impacted by how you think. There's a Native American folktale that says that in each of us there's two wolves. It's a wolf that sees everything that's negative, everything is bad, nothing's ever going to be good, and something's always somebody else's fault. And there's a wolf that knows the best, sees the best, has faith, and is climbing, is optimistic. And the little boy asked the chief, which wolf will control my life? And how do I decide which wolf will control my life? And you know what the chief said?
What did he say?
The one that you feed grow. So we all have a choice, because what you just shared in your story is, transitions often require hibernation.
That's true.
Because you've got to retreat to look within, and those two wolves are talking to you. You got to make some choices, but it's in that hibernation and you begin to get some clarity. So what I hear from you was you were looking this role, and it's oftentimes, I guess I have empathy because I just went through this, Bukky. Going from Nigeria to America, they actually call it re-entry shock. I now have a word for it. So when expats have been abroad and then they come back home, we think we know home, but it's a re-entry shock, because just as you said, we had so much help in Nigeria, and now it's DIY.
Yes.
We used to come down the steps in the morning and tell someone, this is what I like for dinner. And now you look in the mirror and say, this is what I like for dinner. So you've got to have thought about thawing it out. Who likes what? How much time it's going to take? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's a shift. So when we hit these shifts in our lives, we've got to realize, it's like for you talked about driving. We drive on the right side of Nigeria in London. So I applaud you. Driving on the left, that is a complete mind switch. Yes. But I wonder if that is just the metaphor that you need to be able to see yourself in a different way.
Yeah.
That those neurons that were required to go from the right to the left side were all the same neurons that got you to say, in 40 days, we will do a 7 day. So tell us. So thank you for sharing your pepper. You've given us the framework. You've given us just how you said, I'm going to jump out, but identifying ways. All the things that you did are just like, this is mojo, girl. So those years of working with me, I love it. I hear it, the well-being, the finding the things that are good for you. the walking, and it's about calming your nervous system. So
Yeah.
often we're just in this fight, 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 and our nervous system will begin to fight us back. We'll
Mm,
get neck pain. We'll get what? Our stomachs will hurt. Our legs will hurt because it's looking for a way to express. So I
yeah.
love that you recognize that you were imploding and you needed to release. So, thank you for that one.
Thank you.
I want you to just tell me the thing you did a year ago, and really you got some big stuff happening. So I want you to just tell me what's on the horizon for Bukky and for Bellafricana.
Hey.
Hey.
We've got T.A.L.E.S. T.A.L.E.S is coming to London.
T.A.L.E.S. We
T.A.L.E.S.
got the tails.
We
All
got
right,
the T.A.L.E.S.
tell us the tale of the tails.
Okay, yeah. So, we've evolved. So, last year we launched Bellafricana in the UK with a pop-up.
Mhm.
Um, this year we're having the second edition, but we're moving away from calling it a pop-up because it's more than a pop-up. And with what we've been building with Bellafricana, we realized that, to be honest, what we're trying to do is to open a window into the global market for African creatives. But instead of just through their products, we're doing that through their stories, right? Telling the stories
Mm.
through the African fashion, through culture, through beauty, through art, through our food. And that's where T.A.L.E.S come from. T.A.L.E.S is stories, telling the stories of the African creative.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's what T.A.L.E.S.
yes.
However, it came from an acronym. I was
Mhm.
talking to this her name is Abby, and she's a PR she's an expert in the PR industry in the UK. And while we were having, she's been helping me through like the pop-up and the planning and all of that. And while we were having a conversation, she was like, "Okay, I hope you know that you're not just about fashion, you're about lifestyle. What you're actually curating is the African lifestyle experience. And that night after that conversation, in my subconscious, I know that the Holy Spirit was the one talking to me. I was just like, the African lifestyle experience, and the acronym stands for TALE.
Wow.
T.A.L.E. And I woke up and I was like, yes, that's it. That's the Eureka moment. Yes, it's gonna be called Tales. We're
Eureka moment. Oh.
very Eureka moment. And I was like, Tales. And what Tales is gonna be doing is telling the stories from one city, one country to the other, starting in London. And one of the things that keeps me in Bellafricana is the imagination. When you have seen the end, but you're walking forward. I've
Mhm.
seen the vision for Bellafricana is so huge. Even though I've spoken about the online platform, I also see one day where we have Bellafricana villages all around the world. The way there's Chinatown all around the world, right? Having a Bellafricana
Ah.
village where you can get into that space, pick up anything from our food, from our products, from different things, from connecting all over the world. But yeah, we're starting with this experience, this showcase, but traveling the world, so many other things being birthed from it. So Tales is coming up in July, and that's what I'm brooding at the moment. That's the baby that's about to be born in July.
You're in labor. You're in
I'm
labor.
in
Push. Wow. So give us the date for Tails and the details where we can find it.
Yes, Tales is holding from the 4th of July till the 10th of July. It's for 7 days, and it's going to be happening at the Gallery Different in central London, 14 Piercy Street, W1T1DR. Is that deep? I know the postcode of and
Well, I want all of those details. Mo
Yes.
will collect all of that for you so that we can be talking about it. But one of the things I want to hear about is Nigeria. Now, when we first began and we met in Nigeria, and one of the things maybe we should just share. I don't even remember what year it was. So I guess it was after 2012 once you came back from college.
Yes, it was like 2013, I think, or 2014,
Yes,
one of those
yes.
years, very early, 2022.
Very early. I mean,
Thanksgiving, you went to your Thanksgiving in December, there's some purses or something like that long ago.
it's been a long time.
Long
So
time.
I wasn't president yet. I was involved in the American Women's Club, and each
Yes.
year for our membership tea, we would wear fabric that was curated, red, white, and blue, but it would be Niger fabric. And truly, that was not my gift for shopping for fabric. I didn't know where to go. I could wear it, but buy it. And I don't even know who introduced me to you. I don't even remember any of that. I just knew you became my go-to. If I
Yeah.
needed anything, it was like, Boogie, Boogie. And she would come with this wonderful, wonderful options of this and this and this. And we'd lay it out in front of the board. And we were just like, wow, we're spoiled for choice. And we would look so fly. Every membership team, we do our fashion shows.
Yes. I
And
used
I
to love
mean, and it was all about you. And we would have the sales. We have a little village, and you would
it.
man booths and bring people. And that's when we started to see this girl. No, she knows people. Look at that. And that was so much fun because part of the American Women's Club mission is to infuse into our home country, into
Mm.
Nigeria, and support artisans, support art and culture. And it was just a perfect marriage. So
Yeah.
much so that I remember when you got your beau and you came and introduced him before y'all were married. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I was so honored. You remember?
I remember. Oh, that is so
So I was telling a girlfriend yesterday
mm.
about you coming on today, and
Oh.
she said something to me. She said, you and Namdi have a marriage that has shown other people what's possible.
Mm.
And I was letting her know that, Nigerian culture, you come, you bring the wine and you give invitation and you're kind of looking for them to give a blessing. Is this guy all right for you? Spot whatever. And she said, yeah, they're coming to you because you've shown them. And
Mm.
that's what they want to be able to move toward. And I was so moved by that because you never know when you're being the model or the example.
That is
So
true.
even as you step up today and tell your story, there's someone listening to this who's feeling like they're hibernating and
Yeah.
they don't ever think winter is going to end.
Yes.
They don't see any sun or spring or summer ever coming. And you've just walked them through and
Mm.
been the example. Because look how you're shining now. I mean, Nigeria was the one country. Now it's Nigeria, is Ghana, is South Africa. Just
Yeah.
tell us how
And
you have spread.
hmm. I mean, one of the key things that I remember, so last year something interesting happened. One of my mentors came for the event and I didn't know, he didn't tell me he was going to be there. And this particular person, 10 years ago when I moved to Nigeria, I was a part of a pitch session and he was the head panelist. And that way back, even before I birthed Bellafricana, I carried the idea for Bellafricana for that many years and I pitched Bellafricana and I came out fourth. And he came, Mr. Zubairu, God bless him if he listens to this. He came and they got him to do a video testimonial and I had even forgotten about that story of that part of my life. I'd forgotten about it. And he one of the key things that he said was the fact that he has watched consistently how I have stayed true to the vision for Bellafricana. And I didn't even realize when I started to cry because listening to him, it was almost like an unveiling of me living a dream that I had spoken about for a decade,
Ooh,
you know,
you dare dream it, you dare verbalize it, and now you're walking in it.
exactly. So seeing Bellafricana, because we had Bellafricana's logo was on Oxford Street in London. In London. And that, it was really a dream come true. That's like a part of imagine the bigger vision. Like this was part of my dream and I saw it to fruition. So one of the things that's kept me is starting with what I have, just starting with the people in my corner, starting with what I have. One thing I don't play with is relationships, just like yourself. And that's one of the things I've been blessed with, like having the best people. But there's some people that have people in their corner, but they don't know how to nurture relationships. They don't know how to keep relationships. I don't play with the relationships in my life. I don't take someone once said to me recently that Bukky, you are so rich in people. And that gave me goosebumps because I was like, you're so right. Like if anything, like I am truly, truly reaching
This is a
people.
reminder.
And
Yeah.
and these people have held me up, and I don't take them for granted, you know. So having the right people in my corner, understanding how to, do you want to say it? Okay.
Girl, I'm just talking to my Alexa who's trying to interrupt our interview. Go
That's
ahead.
you know, relationships, our relationships. I do not play with that. Um, Staying consistent over the years. I have stayed consistent over the years, building myself in terms of value, being innovative, being able to be flexible over the years, leveraging on technology, upskilling myself even through the journey. I remember when I started growing Bellafricana, my husband is a digital marketing expert. And in the initial stages, I used to say, please just do these things for me. I always wanted him to do everything for me. And thank God he said no to doing everything for me, because that really helped me to be able to understand how to do it for myself. Because what I said to myself at 10 years ago was that one day I would need all of these skills that I am, gathering and helping myself to understand in my business. And that has really, really, really helped me. I remember during COVID, I learned how to build my own website, and that's really helped me until today.
Oh,
Build my own website, I build my landing.
yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't, I don't take all of these skills for granted, because I see the vision of, and that's one of the things that kept me, even when I was in college in London, my 20-year-old self, before I turned 20, I used to say, whatever you do today, I want my 30-year-old self to be proud of me. So whatever I'm doing in my 30s right now, I'm already speaking into my 40-year-old self, and I'm saying how we're gonna make each other proud as we grow along, if that makes sense. So I try to have foresight, and by the grace of God, God has also, number one, I don't play with the spiritual side of everything that I do. I always, God is involved in everything I do, and the fact that I know that God holds me down, strengthens me, I know that I'm able to do anything that I set my mind to.
Wow. 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 I love this. I love this. So if I were to just do a quick recap,
Yeah.
um, having mentors seems to be very key.
Yeah.
And you don't know where your mentor is going to come from. So you were in a pitch experience, you came in fourth. It's just like, what's the lady who has the television show and lost the weight? She was on Dreamgirls, but she didn't win. I don't think she won, came number one, but she actually did. She's the EGOT now. She's won an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. So often the competitions that you're in are just preparations for the thing that's coming next. And just because you may not have won that particular event, some people stop now. I,
Mhm.
I came in fourth. Oh, no, my vision must not be any good. Don't let current experiences interrupt your long-term vision.
That's right.
Don't let current experiences, because that's what you just showed us. Over 10 years ago, and you know what I love about this is really to say, don't die pregnant. Have been pregnant with this thing, and now you're like, the analogy kind of fails, but you've had given birth to one. Now you get ready to give birth to another one. Now you get ready to give
Yes,
birth to another.
that's
You
right.
can't let the pregnancies back up because it'll kill you, right? So I love that you're releasing it. When you talked about the visioning and you talked about the start with what you have and leveraging relationships. I just wanted to make a comment because my partner, a Jamin, always makes this point, and it's also one of the chapters in What Keeps Women from Rising. Is that number one, we are often great at building relationships, but when it comes to leveraging them, we often fall back and not do all we need to do. So what you just shared is how to nurture them. And the comment when people said you're so rich in people, can you give any advice to anyone who might have relationships but might hesitate when it comes to leverage? And I would invite my partner to come on if she has any comments about that, and she can just kind of swim in the water with us now.
Sure. Whenever I get an opportunity to speak to people, I always say that, and I'm grateful for my journey because that's really helped me. I always say, learn to know yourself, like know the strength that you have, know the value that you have, know what's in on whatever table that you find yourself, know what you'll be bringing on that table. One of the things that's helped me is even if I'm whatever relationship I'm entering into. So we're talking about relationship mentoring right now, for instance. It might be with my besties, it might be with my parents, my family. I call them, they're all relationships, right? I always think of what can I give to this person as opposed to what can I take. I know that
Ah,
we talk about
okay.
leverage, right? Some people think about it from the point of what can I take from this person as opposed to what can they give? And if I'm thinking of that from that perspective, I already know the value I'm bringing on the table. So if I'm approaching you, I'm letting you know that, oh, I want you to mentor me, and this is the vision of this is the dream that I carry, right? But I've done some research on you and what you might need that I have, and I'm letting you know that this is something that I would love to help in case you need this help for this part of your business or this part of your thing. So it could be for my own, some people have mentors that don't know them. Me, my mentors know me. And a whole lot of them have grown. I have mentors for different parts of my life, from personal to business and all of it. And I give value to my mentors, either through from it might not be 100% exchange in value, but even if it is 20% of what you have, like being resourceful, they're growing their businesses, like you volunteering to show up for them. What can you bring on the table? If you think about it from that point of view, it would help you out. Then you won't seem like a user. You won't seem like somebody that always wants to take, as opposed to give. So from that point of view, my relationships, I come from that approach from this is what so I try to make that's the key word here is intentional. I'm very intentional about my relationships, so I show up. I'm not that friend. If you tell me you are doing this thing, I want to show up for you because I want you to remember, the spirit of what I'm bringing into this relationship so that it grows, right? And over the years we keep on, we don't it doesn't become transactional. It continues to grow and evolve over our years and the seasons of our lives. Yes.
And what you just described is completely what I've experienced from you. And
Mm,
I never even thought of it in that way.
mm.
Never thought of it. Wow. Okay. So you don't just talk it, you walk it, you're modeling it, and hopefully in what you've shared, some of our soulmates can begin to see that making deposits and actively seeking to make deposits in other people's emotional bank accounts
Right.
makes it much easier for you to make withdrawals.
Mm.
Uh-huh. So it's a Stephen Covey, emotional bank account, because oftentimes, traditionally women have that challenge of leveraging because they're like, I don't want them to think I'm just with them for, for whatever. But I was in that situation recently with someone that I've known since I was in my 20s, is now a really, really big deal in the organization. And I was telling, a common friend, I don't want to, make it look like I want to abuse her position. And she said, what's the use of knowing people if you can't, leverage the access to what they have? And I was like, boy, that sounds so smart. At first, so I was struggling with how that sounds because coming up, we're like, oh, we must do it all ourselves. And, all of this talk and self-talk and beliefs that aren't serving us, frankly.
Right.
So being able to leverage, that's the generational wealth. That's even Africans uniting,
That's right.
right? Because if I make deposits into you, you're expanding. I'm expanding your capacity to help me in the future. And
That's
that's
right.
exactly what you did with us, with my organization. The more you were bringing things for us, we were looking wonderful. So we wanted more of it. We attracted more members to all of those things. And it just has a multiplying exponential effect. So relationship, and then some more relationship. I
Yes.
got that. Staying consistent, building yourself, making sure you're upskilling, and maybe having people around you who are capable, but they don't jump in right away because that can de-skill you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I use it. The example I use, we have nannies in Nigeria. And oftentimes they're trying to make themselves relevant so they can jump in to tie the kid's shoe before they even think about that they need to tie a shoe. And what do you end up with? A child that can't tie their own
Cannot do
shoe.
anything. Exactly. That's right. That's right.
So even if you can sometimes hold back and allow people to see a gap that they at least attempt to fill. That's also how you grow others. All right. Well, I'm rounding up because we've hit the recipes. I think you've shared really some key points that have guided you. I wanted you to tell all the countries that you're in because I don't think we got that piece out. So I think it's two different ways to look at it, because what we're beginning to see is that our ethnicity and our geography are not always the same.
Yeah.
So you have creatives that are based in how many different countries in Africa, and then we'll get into the other part.
Countries, yeah. Okay, so right now our top countries, I'm definitely sure will be about 7. So we started with Nigeria, so that's the biggest percentage of creatives, right? Started from Nigeria, Ghana. Now we have Ghanaians. For instance, the T.A.L.E.S, we have 4 major countries that are going to be. So there's Ghana, from South Africa, and then Zimbabwe that are going to be part of T.A.L.E.S this year. But for the creatives themselves, we have people, Kenyans, we have Ethiopians, we have Tanzanians, we've got 1 or 2 from Rwanda, a few other African countries, Congo, yes, we have Congo,
Uganda?
Yes, we have one Ugandan that's part of Bellafricana, and I'm sure I'm missing South Africa. I'm sure I'm missing a couple of more African countries, but we've positioned Bellafricana as Pan-African. That's the honest truth, and
I love the Pan-African angle of it.
Yes, and that's why it's always been Bellafricana, beautiful Africa, and that's what it means.
Beautiful Africa.
From Nigeria, yeah.
I don't want us to just step on that one. I just want to go back and showcase that Bellafricana means beautiful Africa.
That's correct.
Yes. I love that. So now that we've got the countries, I'm now interested in the people of different ethnicities. You've got them in UK, you've got them in US, you've got them on the African continent. What other places are these folks coming from?
So the creatives themselves, so over the years, we've been building a community of the creatives, that's the producers, right? So they're coming from Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and then the Zimbabwean is based in the UK. However, we also have some creatives flying in from Abu Dhabi, from Ireland. So right now, Bellafricana is in the season where we're now trying to build the community of customers, of buyers.
Okay.
Where these people are now going to start helping to patronize these producers, because one of the things that Bellafricana has been focused on for many years are small businesses. Our members they're fast growing, but they're micro businesses and small businesses. That's what sets us apart. We're not all about the big guys, because the big guys are big and growing, but these small guys, they need exposure. They need to enter new market. They need especially confidence, like you spoke about earlier. They need appreciation of their art, their craft. Some of these people, they can use 3 days to build their products. For instance, you have crochetters that put so much love in their products, taking all these years. It can't be charged cheap. Some of them charge themselves low because that appreciation, someone is there pricing their outfits as if it's tomato and pepper.
Tomato on the street.
On the streets. So then even that excitement of seeing someone, not pricing, just appreciating their works and wowed by, for instance, look at the I have on. This is Ashoke. This is an African fabric that is hand woven. We're trying to preserve the African culture because it's through generations. A whole lot of these crafts are going out of demand, out of date, because the weavers don't have source of income. So a lot of young designers are starting to preserve the culture by using locally made fabrics and all of these things. And we're trying to, like I said earlier, open a window into the global market for these creative entrepreneurs, so that anywhere they can showcase and the excellence in what they do, they can get into any of these platforms, Harrods, Selfridges, that's the prayer for us to be able to get them into any of these retail chains and just build the market locally here. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And well, you know, my one of my personal, I would call it my brands, my purpose is to bridge the gap between Africans and African Americans and actually the world. You know, take these walls and drop them and make them bridges.
That's right.
Identify what we have in common and, you know, that demand supply. I know the things that I wear here in the US when I go out to places, there's like, wow, 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 where can I get it? Where can I get it? And my partner was sharing some, you know, this new one I wasn't aware of, T.A.L.E.S, and I was like, whoa, I was showing it to my friend. It's just amazing pieces. I know over the years you've done my Mojo journals and the wonderful fabrics. When I give them out, people are like, wow, where'd you get this from? And I think sometimes when we are look internally, we don't see the value in ourselves.
That's right.
And just like we were talking about external validation when it came to external accountability and helping to stay true to the promises you make to yourself, that external validation, while we don't want it to be the complete measure, it is nice to get. It is nice to see. And it's and it helps. And I love that you bring that as a community. Are there any key takeaways or any big ideas that you'd like to leave with our soulmates, you know, from the women that you touch and even the men who touch the women? Is there any other big idea before we get into our rapid fire questions for you?
Well, watch out for T.A.L.E.S. Hopefully we can come to the States. We're popping up it's going to be a movement, right? We're moving to all wherever our soulmates are located. We want to come to your city. So it's that, because for us it's collaboration. We don't have to be based there, but we know that people are based all over the world, and they can be partners. We need consortiums. We need alliances. We need people we can leverage on their resources, their support, their connections. Obviously, we need a lot of financial partners who are able to key and tap into, because what we're doing is impacting millions of lives. You know, it's not just the creatives, but also their family, their connections, the community. It's impacting. And when we talk about numbers, the numbers are also there in terms of return and things like that. So yeah, that's definitely what
So for the things you just talked about, maybe you can just verbally say, what are the best ways to reach out to you if someone is interested in the collaboration? You know, I've already told you I'm going to do all that I can to try to bring you here for US and be able to have a T.A.L.E.S in US somewhere. But is there an email? Is there a phone number? You know, what's the best way to reach out if you want to collaborate?
Yeah, so info@bellafricana.com. Or partnership@bellafricana.com. I get it directly.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, so I can be reaching any of them. And then my personal email is basically just my name. It can be CC. So that
gmail.com.
I get it. Yeah, Bukky Asehinde at gmail.com.
Okay. We'll make sure that we have all of that in the show notes and you know, just kind of highlight it as we go, because that is very key. You've talked about being a producer, you've talked about being growing a seller. So in terms of how to grow in the seller side, I'm sure there's a T.A.L.E.S website somewhere where we can go and see what all the items are that are on sale that if we want to buy online. Is that possible?
Yeah, so we're actually working on a T.A.L.E.S soft launch. It's going to be Bellafricana UK, bellafricana.co.uk. That's currently being worked on. So that's always been the vision, yes, for you to have online platforms so you can shop. So very soon to bellafricana.co.uk, you'll be able to shop all around the world, starting with the UK, the US markets.
Excellent. So keep us updated so that we can make sure that we can be an amplifier for the beautiful things happening there. All right, rapid fires. Are you ready for the rapid fire questions as we close out?
Yes, I am.
All right. So number one, what's your secret talent?
I think one of my secret talents, I have them in different ingredients. I think it's my intuition. I definitely know that through everything, the Holy Spirit just keeps me grounded. Like I'm able to feel bad energy from fiery. that intuition, being able to just raise my concerns when things are not right and when
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
just flow, and just being able to just let go and let God, as opposed to carrying some things on my chest. So I think that ability to just see the positive in different issues or different things that come up, I definitely know that. And that's superpower.
Okay. What's some books that maybe have influenced your thinking and maybe anything that you've read recently?
Very recently, I had started it before and started again, and I plan to finish it, hopefully by God's grace, is Atomic Habits. I absolutely love that book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. And
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't read it, my soul, is it soul sisters? What are we calling our soulmates? Yeah.
Soulmates,
Soulmates,
you can read
please
that. Yes.
definitely look at Atomic Habits. It just kind of helps you. One thing that's helped me all through the years is my ability to, be disciplined through the different seasons of my life. Whatever, if I set a goal, like there's no distraction that can take me away from it. I'm like, yeah, I got my eyes on this. And, I was honored to understand how to what's my vision boarding with you, for instance. And I've since then I haven't, I take it like a spiritual exercise. I don't take it for granted. It's one of the things.
Oh,
So yeah, that's a book that I would definitely recommend amongst many other books. I have so many books for different things, of different seasons of
okay.
my life that I read. So that's my most recent
Okay.
Atomic Habits.
Perfect. Person you'd like to trade places with.
Trade places. That's a very good question, because I don't think I would hop immediately to want to trade places with anyone, because I truly, truly love where I am, my life, my journey. I love every single one. I think maybe if I were to trade places in this moment, I would trade places with maybe anyone that is in Bali right now, or anyone that is in the Maldives, or somewhere relaxing and without having to think about their planning for an event that is about 20 days and less away.
Oh,
I would love to trade places with that person in this moment. Just
yeah,
close my
just
eyes, get
temporarily.
there temporarily, and I'm back to planning for the event.
And I'm back. You may have to settle for a nice bath, nice spa moment, right? Okay.
I'll say,
Last but not least, the best compliment you've ever gotten.
hmm. One compliment that I would not forget. I mean, aside the compliment from my husband, my dearly beloved right now.
All right, King.
But
Uh-huh.
yeah, shout out to my king. But one
Uh-huh.
compliment I know that I would not forget was when I was younger. I worked at McDonald's, and I remember when the particular branch that I was working in, we were moving from being a McDonald's owned to a franchisee, and I used to be one of the girls on the T.A.L.E.S, and I remember the franchisee coming. They so I was upskilling myself again while I was there before I became a manager on that floor. And I remember one of the days the franchisee was like, he came and he was like, please, where is Bukky? Like he was looking for me. And he was like, I need her in front smiling to my customers, because she has one of the best smiles in our store. So I want P at the front because she makes our customers feel happy and excited when they come in. And I would never forget. I don't even know if he knows this, but that has stuck with me. And when people ask what's one of your superpowers, I say my smile. I take my smile. I don't if I People see my Instagram and they think it's it. I intentionally smile, but I do intentionally smile, but I do smile a lot.
Exactly.
And I love my smile. Yeah, I do have good teeth too. Yeah, but so
Yes, you do. Show 'em, girl.
it's very therapeutic for me. When I'm having a headache, when I'm having a tough day, I smile hard. It just releases some stress hormones in my body, and it just helps me out.
Wow.
Yeah, so I do that.
Okay. Knowing your thing is really important. So I'm just going to wrap up here. I have loved our time together. I've learned quite a bit, even though we've known each other for quite a while. But I love the maturity that I've seen. I love the reflection and the way that you've seen the peppers, but frame them, reframe them. Keep on reframing. And that's how we get to wellness. That's how we get to a high level of valuing ourselves and making the impact we want to have. So I thank you for all of the producers that you have brought on board, and the ones that you have yet to bring. as well as the buyers. We want those buyers to support. Hey, right? All right. But what I would say is thank you for joining us today. We've explored your incredible journey. And we've gone through your origin story, why Bellafricana, that, beautiful Africa is what this is all about. You got the 20,000 chicks that you mother hen over, and how one of your biggest challenges was a relocation back to UK. It wasn't a new place, but now you had so many other roles you needed to play, and how that needed to play out for you and your internal process for getting that pepper into some pepper soup, right? Yes. And how you've helped creatives to build as entrepreneurs, because the craft will die, the talent will die if people can't eat off of their creativity. So making that space for people and hearing God, maybe saying no to some help so that you would build internal capabilities, and learning, how to resource yourself through some of those tough times. The other one I would say is visioning, knowing how to nurture relationships. You really taught us a lot about that. Opening a global window to the global market for so many, leveraging mentors, upskilling, spiritual side, and learning yourself.
Yes.
The dream that you carry, being intentional about so many things. And I love this smile because we've enjoyed it all this while. So as we wrap up, remember to pamper your soul, because as we always say, your soul is your baby, and when it flourishes, so do you. So Bukky, tell us, what is it that we need to know to really support and make this T.A.L.E.S a wonderful success?
You gotta show up.
Okay.
When,
where, how?
T.A.L.E.S. T.A.L.E.S, it's free to attend T.A.L.E.S, but we want to register. So I'm sure somewhere below you'll be able to get the link to register. T.A.L.E.S is happening from the 4th of July till the 10th of July, and it's going to be happening at the Gallery Different, 14 Percy Street in London. It's central London, just off Tottenham Court Road. W1T1DR. Come. We don't want you to come alone. Come with friends, come with family, come one, come all. There'll be about 40 creative entrepreneurs from 4 different African countries: Nigerian, African, Ghanaian, Zimbabwean, and we just want to get access to a diverse community. Nigerians, Africans, British, Koreans. We want you to come and experience the African culture through our fashion, through art, through the beauty products, through, everything on that day. It's going to be amazing. We are tagging it London's latest lifestyle event, and it is going to be the trendiest African lifestyle event that you're going to see in London this year, 2024. So,
I love it. London, we they come.
We they come London.
Yes, we they come London. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share with a friend, leave a review, and connect with us on social media. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, soulmates, stay inspired, keep growing, and turn life's peppers into a flavorful soup. Connect below. Bye-bye for now.